This is Goku-san, DBZ, and welcome to a special Top 10 Saturday list. Of course, I'll do a normal Top 10 tomorrow on Top 10 Sunday. And tomorrow's Top 10 list, just to let you know, is going to be the Top 10 anime villains. So stay tuned for that very special anime Top 10 list tomorrow. Top 10 anime villains. Today, a special top 10 list is going to be the top 10 Xbox 360 games. Now, this is going to be based on overall opinion as well as other statistics. I mean, it's not going to be strictly based overall on sales, but it's going to be based on games that people are more passionate about. And this will actually include even like I guess you could say remakes or HD version rather. So yeah. And now of course a percentage of these will be Xbox 360 exclusives obviously, but some of the other games are multi-console, but people prefer it, the 360 version. And here they are. Top 10 360 games. Coming in number 10 is Halo 4. Now, surprisingly, Halo 4 is hands down. It is considered somewhat controversial, though there was a lot of positives also about Halo 4, being, of course, really one of the first games in the franchise that was not Bungie wasn't really involved with, strictly Microsoft, since, of course, Microsoft bought the copyrights to the franchise, which is why Bungie is now with, Activision. And of course, with their new, of course, kind of like, basically it's a lot like Halo, Destiny, which is 85% identical, at least in the how you play the character and everything. But yes, coming in number 10, Halo 4. Coming in number 9 is a game, surprisingly, that's very mixed. There are a lot of people who say it's better on PC, but there's others who think that it's better on home console. And though, surprisingly, of console owners that play this game, it's more preferred on the 360 though. And that is Dragon Age Origins at number 9, which is a really popular, of course, RPG game. Though it feels and plays a little bit more like an MMO rather than a traditional RPG adventure type game. So yeah, though it's more of like an action, I guess, roleplay, if you will. But yeah, it does remind you a little bit of the way you play MMO. But yeah, it's really popular, of course. Definitely has a very hardcore fan base, given it is done by, of course, BioWare, which has done many a great game, like Jade Empire, like Knights of the Old Republic, and of course Star Wars Old Republic, and many other great games. That company, all I have to say to them is, when are we going to get a freaking Knights of the Old Republic 3, may I ask? But anywho, coming in at number 8 is a company made by a company that not counts the number 3. Of course, that being Valve. And this is a 2-game series that you can play in like one afternoon, both games. But the second game is overall the more popular one. At least it's a lot longer. It's like maybe 3 times as long to beat. But it's a lot of fun, of course. And it's a puzzle type game in a first-person shooter viewpoint without any actual shooting. Instead, you have a portal gun. That's right. Number 8 is Portal 2. Which has a lot, of course, this series has a lot of references, obviously, to Half-Life. Which is definitely a very successful one and has one of the most hardcore fan bases of any game series, I can say. But Portal 2 is a lot of fun. And I get a kick out. I especially love that J.K. Simmons does the voice of, like, the founder. And I'll quote honest trailers on this. He sounds like J. Jonah Jameson on shrooms. You know, for like the quote, "I don't want your damn lemons." That's just hilarious. Coming in at number 7 is pretty much the only exclusive out of the Dead or Alive series. exclusive to the 360, though a lot of people complain it was too hard. And let's be honest, it was pretty hard as heck, but I personally enjoyed the difficulty of the game. And that is Dead or Alive 4. Because Dead or Alive 5 is multiple console. Original Dead or Alive was, of course, released on 2 consoles and then had a redone version on the original Xbox. Dead or Alive 2 had multiple different versions released. Dead or Alive 2, then Hardcore, and Ultimate Volume 2. And Dead or Alive 3, actually, which was an original Xbox exclusive. For Dead or Alive 3 and Dead or Alive 4 are Microsoft exclusive only games, which is interesting. And yeah, you had that insanely tough and powerful Alpha 152 clone of Kasumi, which is insanely hard to beat, I might add. Constantly disappearing and reappearing behind you and kicking the crap out of you. Coming in at number 6 is a great game. It's called Mirror's Edge, which has a very hardcore fan base. And of course, next month of May, a sequel to the game is coming out. It's called Mirror's Edge: The Catalyst. And there's actually, of course, I've reviewed like one of the comics. I only have the first issue, sadly, but it's an incredible game. It's in first-person view, much like a Portal, but basically, yeah, you can use guns, but only very rarely. Mainly, your job is to jump from rooftop to rooftop and try to outrun people trying to kill you, like SWAT teams, helicopters with machine guns. It's insanely hard, and for the most part, you can't really fight back. Your main goal is just to run and survive the game. That's basically... And yeah, it does have like strategic puzzle elements to it, how you get from one rooftop to another. So it does have a lot of similar elements in that aspect to Portal, because you actually have to use your brain to play the game. And I appreciate games like that actually require you to actually use your brain on something and not let it just turn to mush. Coming in at number 5 is Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary Edition, which is hands down easily the second most praised first-person shooter of all time. It's definitely revolutionary because it actually had a really solid overall storyline to it. I can honestly say this is one of the few games I can't talk negative really on anything about. And I'm keep in mind, I hate 99% of all shooter games, pretty much. With the exceptions to a couple of the Halo games, and of course, I bow to the greatness that is 007 GoldenEye on the N64. And of course, Perfect Dark. But the original Halo was incredible. The storyline was actually really good, and it wasn't about stupid multiplayer. See, that's one of the problems I got with most shooter games of today. It's mainly only multiplayer, though there is those exceptional few guilty pleasures I have, such as Destiny. But it's because I like the leveling up system that reminds you a little bit more of a RPG in those aspects. And though there's not a lot of storylines, interesting and engaging, but yes, definitely Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary is an incredibly well done, updated version of the original game. I mean, if you have never actually played the original Halo on original Xbox, and say you have a 360, I highly recommend you get the Anniversary, because the price has dropped really low. I mean, you could get the game now for probably about maybe just over $10 or so. So yeah, get it. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. It's really fun and really enjoyable game. Coming in at number 4 is a tie between two RPGs. Well, an RPG and a JRPG. The first is from a small studio which sadly Microsoft is shutting down, Lionhead. And number 4 first is Fable 3, which is considered hands down one of the most controversial Halo games, though it's also at the same time, interestingly enough, the best seller of the franchise. Because on 360 alone, Halo 3 sold more than 5 million copies worldwide. Fable 3 also had, surprisingly, a lot of elements of, like, horror elements to it, like with the desert and stuff. The first time, like, for instance, I played the game, I was not expecting those creepy elements because you didn't have them in Fable 1 or Fable 2, really, any real horror aspects. But Fable 3 did have that. Now, of course, one of the drawbacks is eventually, over a period of time, you can become definitely an overpowered character. Once you completely level up your magic ability, and with the fusion of two different magic abilities thanks to the gauntlets, which, by the way, is pretty awesome, though I wish there was more magic abilities in it. But it was fun combining fire and lightning together. That does some damage. You electrocute and burn someone at the exact same time. That's pretty fun. Also tied at number 4, JRPG. It's made by a lot of former employees of Square Enix, or rather in those days Squaresoft. And it was made by a lot of people that worked on the original Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VIII. And that game is called Lost Odyssey, which is an amazing JRPG. If you like Final Fantasy games and you don't like some of the newer Final Fantasy because there's really no turn-based combat system, get Lost Odyssey. It's a 4-disc 360 game. Now that's insane, 4 discs. And the overall main storyline will take you about maybe 50-60 hours to beat if you play straight through from point A to point B. If you include all the side missions, side quests and stuff, the game can easily end up taking 120 plus hours to beat. Seriously, there's that many side quests. All the side quests together can take up as much, if not more, time than the actual main story. So yeah, it feels in a lot of ways like some of your old school Final Fantasy games because of all the side quests. And this game was tricky because you could be multiple levels higher than the boss you were fighting, but you're not going to be able to beat those bosses unless you have certain elements equipped to your character when you face them in battle. That's the only way to beat some of them, and that was an interesting little, I thought, swerve they had, and you didn't have, nor do you still have, in most RPG or JRPG games. So I found that kind of refreshing and different. The music is great, which you expect. It honestly feels like a game that Square Soft would have made. It really is probably one of the best RPGs, hands down. Maybe in the top 5 best JRPGs in the last 10 years. Coming in at number 3, it's a special collection called the Dreamcast Collection, which is great. It has 4 games in it, all classics. One, personally, I'm not a fan of sport games, so yeah, I'm not a fan of this one game, but that's a lot of people liked. Sega Bass Fishing. You also have in the collection Sonic Adventure, the first Sonic Adventure, which was incredible. I think perhaps number 2 best Sonic game ever made. Second maybe only to Sonic 2. But Sonic Adventure was a lot of fun. Also in the collection, Crazy Taxi, which is an awesome game, and if you like the rock band The Offspring, trust me, you'll enjoy. And if you like some of the good early 2000s punk rock, not the crappy, like Simple Plan type crap, but good music, really fun game, especially you can do all kinds of crazy stuff, jump over buildings, everything with the car. The main goal is just to get from point A to point B with your passenger and make more money. The faster you get there, the more money you make. And it's fun since you can get away causing like a lot of car accidents and stuff in the game. Though that's not good in real life, of course. And the last but not least in the collection is Space Channel 5 Part 2. And that is a really weird, funky, kind of on drugs type video game. But it's also awesome at the same time and a lot of fun. Trust me, Definitely, get a chance to get the Dreamcast collection, get it. It's a lot of fun. Sega Bass really isn't worth your time unless you like games like that, fishing, sport games. But trust me, the collection is plenty worth it for Crazy Taxi, Space Channel 5 Part 2, and Sonic Adventures. It is more than worth what it costs, which is like maybe $20. And if you were a big fan of the Dreamcast, trust me, this is not to be missed collection. Coming in at number 2 is a special collection from Valve, which of course can't count to 3. And in total, it's got technically, like, I guess you could say 4 whatever games in it, and you can get it on average probably $20 to $25, or maybe $20 to $30 brand new, depending where you go. It's worth it for the collection because you get in the collection the original Portal game, which is, of course, awesome, like an hour to beat, but still fun. You also get Team Fortress 2, which is a lot of fun. It's a mature, first-person shooter type game that kind of looks like it was made by Pixar. So yeah, it's like an adult-looking Pixar type. It's like a rated R Pixar type game, I guess you could say, because the animation style. It's just a lot of fun to play and just very enjoyable. And of course, the last game in the collection is Half-Life 2. And it includes both Episode 1 and Episode 2 in the collection. So you get the full, complete Half-Life 2 game. So yeah, it's basically like 4 games in one. Great price. And it's just nothing but quality there. And trust me, if you enjoy good, complicated plot games and really good gameplay, this is definitely a collection not to miss out on. Last but not least, at number 1. Oh wait, first honorable mentions, I forgot. Halo Wars, The Darkness, Forza 3, Halo Reach, Soul Calibur 4, The Last Remnant, Star Ocean, The Last Hope, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, and last but not least honorable mention, Fable Anniversary, which is an incredible redone, which is basically Fable. It has all the content stuff from Fable The Lost Chapters as well, so definitely worth getting. Coming at number 1 is a tie. First, and both exclusive to Microsoft only. The first is Halo 3. I personally did not care for Halo 3, of course, but overwhelmingly, it's probably one of the most praised of the franchise. Most people duke it out between Halo 1 and Halo 3 for being the best in the series. Just depends who you ask, though some people may also say Halo 2, though it didn't have the best ending. Anyways, and tied with it at number 1 is Fable 2, which is a great game. Now, personally, for me, I think Fable 1 is the best, hands down, and I really enjoyed Fable 3 for a few different reasons, but if you ask most people praise Fable 2 for being the best in the series. And, I mean, rightfully so. It's a lot of fun, and it's certainly the longest overall to beat out of the 3 games in the series. Fable 3 is probably the shortest overall length. You can beat Fable 3 probably, maybe 12 hours or so. You might be able to beat Fable 3 in around that range, like 12 to 15 hours. You can beat Fable 1 on average, probably takes about 20 hours or so to beat that game. But it's a lot of fun. Fable 2, on the other hand, you're probably looking at around at least probably 25 to 30 hour time frame to beat it, which isn't that bad. I mean, it's not as long as I would like it to be, but still, it's a really incredible, really fun game. And it really was the first game to introduce the companion system, like with the dog, which is very useful. And by the way, it was also awesome because it was the first one we got introduced to using guns in, which is a lot of fun. Though I still enjoy my bow and arrow and stuff from the first game, but yeah, still having the guns were a lot of fun. Especially the handguns were very useful in battle. But I still was always more the magic user in those games. And that is the top 10 Xbox 360 games. Please leave a comment. Tell me what your favorite Xbox games were, what your favorite 360 games were. And let me know what top 10 lists in the future you'd like me to do for a particular console. As next time, I'll see you again here in YouTube land. Follow me at twitter.com/GokuSunDBZ. And also, of course, I'm on Google Plus as well, /GokuSunDBZ. And please send me feedback. I want to hear from you all out there for ideas for future top 10 lists as well as reviews. And I'll see you all here again, same YouTube time, same YouTube channel.